There's type of healing that can only happen when we breathe in a relaxed way. It's the breath is intimately connected to all the signaling that happens in the body to rest and repair. Unfortunately, sleep and naps are not restorative enough. The human heart, mind, body composite needs something like meditation. Doesn't mean sitting cross-legged. Can be when you're walking in the woods or painting, but it's a deliberate way in which we breathe. It's like a lever or a switch, something in the mind that we bring attention to, not biological breathing, not air coming in the nose, but the fullness, the way the breath interacts with structures, the way it moves. Is it open? Is it closed down, shut down? Is it closeted? Is it in a corner? How broadly can I make this feeling of the breath is a good question. It's an important question. How it's almost akin to sharing, like when we have cooked too much and we want to have a friend over. It's like that same giving sense. It's like we, not consciously, but selfishly, to promote our goals, we focus our energy into our brain for our work or into our body for our exercise, and we're channeling and shaping and carving, and we're starving certain areas and feeding others. This is a different approach. This type of healing, the breath healing, we want to work with as broad and as mixed and as open as possible and as comfortable. And that means literally developing a sensitivity to the skin layer, to almost that the sort of fuzzy boundaries that just tingle and light up like Christmas tree. And just in the slowest and calmest of breaths, we learn to sensitize ourselves to something like a field of breath. And this is a true gift to ourselves that goes beyond the needs of sleep and naps. It's a nourishment, as the Buddha, it's a form of nourishment akin to eating. And stress tends to accumulate in the core and in the edges. We're going to work with the edges, the frontiers of our boundaries with the world. There can be feelings of like holding satellites in orbit, like kind of heaviness in the space around the body. And we use each breath to sort of clear that space. The more, so that the breath starts to mix and melt any feeling of heaviness in the external space. And we take full breaths, but we really, it's not biological. We breathe with the legs. We breathe as, as if they're lungs everywhere, pumping energy into the right hip and the left hip and the knees and the feet, all the joints. And when we breathe with all these lung spaces, all these absorptive areas. Just think of like a sponge that's dried out and hasn't been fed. And we feed all these aspects with an in breath. And we release any sort of tension with the out breath everywhere at once. And yes, there's a little bit of intentionality there, a little bit an edge of movement towards something, but it's only to counteract the sort of staleness. We're really not breathing for the sake of the whole organism at once, not moving away from not sharing the vital life force with every system in the body versus sharing it equally. It's a radical democratic way of breathing. Every system gets the same amount. There's nothing privileged. And when we do that, there's a sense of fullness that we can't feel when we're squeezing and channeling. We create the conditions for excessive wanting when we're in squeezing, channeling, focus mode. Whereas we create the conditions for not wanting, for being satisfied, in other words, for being content. So we're creating conditions for this is enough. Is equalizing, it's like an equalizer on a stereo. We're just equalizing the way the breath feels everywhere, including, don't neglect what feels like an outside, what feels inside and outside. There tends to be a need for downward energy, so pulling the energy, breathing it down through the system, through whatever you call this shape or heaviness of this body. And it feels like what's being held up and performed, the performative side of the breath can rest. Where we breathe in such a way to perform in life, to smile when we are tired, to connect when to work when we don't want to work, to we're constantly having to remodulate, reperform, reshape our relationship to energy, to breath. I just want you to drop all performances with respect to the breath. Any personality, any shape that you think, any channeling. Trust the background vibration of the energy and its evenness, its, what's that word, fancy word, entropy. And I think there's a sweet song, not a neutral song, not a dullness in this equality. There is the song of the universe. Find And I fade into this background noise of the universe, that it's really singing. There's beauty, there's a sense of merging, of trust, contentment. There's a real opportunity here to let go, reset, maybe is the right word. And thought, this thought I had before and this morning about my issues, it's a gift from the universe. If you can add an element of what I would call tallness or rectitude or uprightness, sense of maybe a tingle associated with the breath going up and down the spine, kind of pulse, connecting the electrical signals going through what you might call a chakra system or an energy system from the base of the spine, above, from the ground, through above the head and back down. Just yield to that pulse a little bit, keeping your attention on it, finding its natural rhythms without imposing something. Softening, continuing to soften, to drop. Adding a sense of just a drop of clarity. Seeing where this rectilinear up and down breath brings you. For me, it brings a sense of clarity. I only start it once everything feels really mixed and even. So you might have to go back to that even feeling, that horizontal breathing, where you go into up and down signaling, but something purpose driven or trusting in the purposes of the universe when we breathe up and down. It's like things start to fall in place there. I feel incredible love and generosity when I breathe horizontally into the heart, and now feel a sense of intimate connection with all things. You can go back and forth exploring the relationship between intentionality and perception, the qualities of the heart that are being developed. Make this your exploration between intention, perception, and the development of divine heart qualities. some point there'll be a sense of grace that will enter the field of presence, sense of a gift from the universe, like a song almost. It's just for your energetic system. It's just the right type of healing that you need. You can't even put words to it, but you can feel like a divine massage. You can feel it like fingers reaching in, massaging tension, or you can feel it like a vibration, gift of universal love, connection. You can feel like a golden ointment, or it can feel just like a settled sense of settled contentment. Nothing's wanting, nothing's needed. There's no lack in the universe. There's no things are better on the other side of the fence. Sense of this is enough, this is fullness. And the mind is like, wow, why didn't I remember this in the middle of the week? It nourishing to that mind that only functions on lack, clarity, and worry. And that's what we're feeding right now. We're feeding that mind. And it's just however the breath is being expressed right now and whatever vibration, healing vibration is being generated, mind is just latched to it. It's inseparable from what's being offered right now. It's being almost stretched out of its stiffness without our knowing it. Or this is the best kind of mind gym. It's softened. Because our expectations are at their lowest. We're not channeling, shaping, controlling. So the softest part of ourself is even getting softer. For the Buddha, this was such an important part of meditating. And it can be softness of mental shapes and qualities and expectations. And it comes through a deep contentment, a deep, long mixture with contentment. Contentment can feel heavy, heavier than our daily life. So you might experience fatigue when contentment comes on. It's like thirsty person arriving at a source of water and just suddenly feeling exhausted after drinking, falling asleep. When we finally get what we want, we can feel sleepy. Try and just introduce enough light and awareness into that contentment so that you celebrate the contentment, not take it for granted. Feels like a celebratory satisfaction. And the heaviness will feel uniform and suspended almost. It will be modulated by the breath. Spiritual joy and bliss is not excitement, it's born of contentment and release and relaxation. It's an essence or a perfume of relaxation. You can feel the way it massages, touches the relaxation. It's a way the mind completely comes to rest. Mind takes a vacation from its worries of the body and it rejoices. Feels like energy body reshapes and reforms and clarifies and lightens and lights up, vibrates. It's a it's a broad awareness. It's not a distraction. It's the energy suddenly like a floodlight just showing you a stuck space in the throat or the heart, and suddenly this broad clarity, this broad breath just wipes it away. Sometimes things reform and sometimes they just reshape or change, and sometimes they just become what they are, something similar but in a more natural state. And go back to the broad breath. And there's a phase in the meditation when the attention just draws to what needs healing, and it'll just bounce back to a suspended broad state without any attachment or worries. And then, so it's not worrying about maintaining the broad state. It's becomes just a healing stage where feeling of connection and broadness, submersion in an energy field of clarity and healing just becomes state of suspension. And then there'll be a shape that will form, and then it'll dissolve, and you'll go back to that state of suspension. Right view is knowing that none of this is mine or me or I. It's not separate. There's a natural sort of right view in this state of broad suspension. There's no identity center, master, computer center, in control. It's softening comes from trusting this nature of balance between heart, mind, and body. Letting it carry you onwards. Um,